Welcome back to WAAAGH Tactics. We're here to talk about the Balance Dataslate Ork predictions. Let's see if GW's coming with the Nerf hammer, the rise of the green tide, the ebbs, the flows, and the possible falls. Let's see what's going on, guys, with who's getting hit. So what's going on, everybody? And I want to say shout out to Nick J, the new member.
Let's go.
Can we get a whoa? Sorry, guys, my wall's a little weak today. I have a little bit of a cold. So here we are. Now, right off the bat, I want to say everybody here knows, and we appreciate you, Nick, greatly. If my voice wasn't destroyed, I would talk more. All right, so right here, what we expect to get hit, right? So everybody might assume that things are going to get rough here. Stay positive, stay cheerful. Don't worry, Dataslates aren't always that bad. But one person it might be bad for is Mozrog Scragbag. So we know last Dataslate he didn't get hit, right? And why are some reasons he should get hit, David, as a Space Wolf loving git?
Well, it's his defense, really. The 4-up invul and the 4-up feel no pain can be a headache when you're throwing 500 or more points into him just to try to deal with him, and then he's still standing there.
Yeah, it's incredibly swingy for the opposition army. Us as Ork players, we love it. It feels very Orky. We like having someone that doesn't just fall over like the rest of our army. But to the opposing players, a 4-up feel no pain is extremely daunting on someone that can do hard as nails and make most of their army wound them on 5s and 6s, right?
Exactly.
Also, his mount having devastating wounds built in at high damage of 4 up to possible 5, him having flat damage 3 makes it so all of a sudden he can tear down outrageous monsters and vehicles out of nowhere and catch the opponent off guard as well. So not only is he a great distraction card effects, but he's also sometimes just trading people out offensively as well and soaking up their army. So I can see GW going a little overboard here possibly and hitting Mozrog Scragbag, throwing him up over 205 points, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'd like to see him get untouched, considering there's other more dangerous models in the 40k meta right now.
Yeah, for sure. I think that he's now oppressing because his offense potential just swings and goes, and there's still crazy damages in the game. Last RTT, I got killed by Talon like 3 or 4 activations with Maz, but then other Ork players were taking in entire leagues of Voltan offensive shooting phase. So it can go either way. I don't think GW should really overextend here, but I can see them doing it to appease the beakies and power armor, to be honest, right? But don't be sad. He'll still probably be very usable. Another person that most likely would be usable would be Captain Badrook in the Flash Gits. So people might immediately think, oh, they're getting hit with points. GW hates them. They're so strong. They're on every list. Well, I'll tell you what. If you were watching WAAAGH Tactics before, you would know that Flash Gits were already good prior to that post-status decrease, right? So Captain Badrook and the Flash Gits going back 5 points just puts them back to where they were at. Now, the rest of the meta isn't where it was at that time, but Flash Gits and their utility is even more important now, in my opinion, right? Exactly. So some of the units that might need to be taken up on Overwatch, or some of the new units that have scouting, infiltrating, screening potential, the Flash Gits become very important to interact with models that the Orks can't really get their hands on anymore with all these reactive movements.
Yeah, and I think that's the part of the game where they kind of go a little bit overboard with the Overwatch capabilities.
Yeah.
So going back to their previous points is appropriate.
Yep. I could see GW doing it, but Ork players, keep it in the back of your head. They were already good when they were 5 points increased before. Just go back, take a peep, look maybe back at our old videos. They were actually still being used, like creeping up into the meta, and then GW increased them. We were like, whoa, why'd you do that? That's awesome.
Right. And I believe Captain Badrook also went down 5 points, right?
Yep.
So it'd be a total of 10 points.
Yeah.
Go and take the same combo.
For sure. And I'm hoping that's all GW does. Well, 10, 15 points because I think the 10-man unit. But yes. Yep. Another unit that I think that people were sleeping on that also was already popular is the War Boss. So the War Boss is very cheap, one of the most popular data slates since the data slate units. Sorry, one of the most popular units since the data slate. He's ran in a variety of ways. I've seen him with Ork boys and trucks. I've seen him with 5-man units of knobs. I've seen him in knobs 10-man units as a scalpel unit. I've seen him with the knob with wall banner. Seen him with the mech or the big mech and KFF and the War Boss and the 20-man unit of Boyz. War Boss has been used all over since Tabata's data slate at 65 points. I actually still want him to stay there. I really do. The fact that he's so flexible is because of his points cost. And the fact that he's really only really vital and important on the wall is what makes him important.
Yeah,
and
and I feel
useful.
his flexibility is thematic to the whole
It
orc
is.
theme.
It is. Yeah.
And I'd really hate to see him get the same treatment that the Beast Boss got last data slate, because I think that was a little uncalled for.
Oh yeah, Beast
20
Boss
point increase.
20-point increase on the Beast Boss.
Or-
So where's the War Boss gonna end up? I'm thinking he's just gonna get a 5-point increase. A 10 would hurt my heart, to be honest. But I'm hoping GW keeps it as a 65 points. It's like David said, he's very important to us because he's thematic, but the -2 AP matters. And in reality, him with the knobs is the most powerful combo there. So the knobs going up will already kind of tangentially bring him up probably and make him less popular. That being said, less popular trucks, right? I think trucks overall, I really don't think they should get hit. Mind you, I'm bringing these guys up so you guys can have a more subjective opinion. And from me, I'm trying to just look at it from what the Beakies and other players are looking at us. But in my opinion, I don't think they need to go up because Orks are starting to just bring like 3 or 4 of them now, and that's too much. We're not oversaturating the field with them. They give us just enough utility so that we can play the game and get up the board thematically. A lot of armies have the tools to destroy them. They're not oppressive anymore, but GW kind of delay react sometimes to things, and I can see them still hitting trucks anyways, right? The one thing that makes them very, very unique to other transports is they're extremely useful tank shock, though.
Yeah, that's very unique. Most transports have more of a strength closer to 6,
Mhm.
and the fact that trucks have 10 makes
10,
them very
yeah,
useful
you're
for that
throwing
tank shock.
12 dice at an assassin and you're just destroying him and putting him under your tracks. I love it. We love it. But Beakies don't love it. So we'll see how GW reacts with that. Another thing is knobs. Knobs with power claws, aka the scalpel unit, is brought in the vast majorities of top performing lists. And they were also viable prior to the data slate too. So they got a minor decrease last time, and I really hope GW doesn't go overtime again with here. We need the AP, we need the multi damage, we need that volume. Overall, if you're running them in 5 minutes with the War Boss or the 10 minutes with the War Boss, we do not want to see that go up. It's right along with the meta. That's one of our important tools. But like I just said, GW does some kind of delay react and overreact.
Yeah, I would hate for the knobs to get touched too hard, considering how the meta's shaping with the power armor, and now the Necron Codex seems pretty strong as well.
For sure. They're my favorite fight and death unit. Then we have the Squig Hog Boy / the Nabon Smash a Squig. So this is a unit that we all see and we all know is getting hit. GW didn't hit it last time. I very assume so. They're getting hit. I mean, I do think the meta has kind of passed them up, as into running 3 6-man units isn't the way to go anymore. I think there's just too many tools in the meta now to deal with it, too much armor, but GW does delay react. Now, will they overreact is the true question. If Squig Hog Boys go up 5 points for a 3-man unit, that doesn't kill them for us. Bringing a big brick of them will still be useful, and having the Edwapa skill chop will still be useful. But people might forget that the Nabon Smasher Squig was already decreased this last data slate as well. So if he goes up, it's just kind of back to normal to where it was too. So where will GW find that balance? Will they overcompensate on the boys and then forget about the knob and leave him where he's at? Are they going to put him up a little bit because he's the person who gets the enhancement, so they see him as a tax? There's a couple ways this could go. Yeah. But we know that it's going to go. So to sum this up real quick, in the way we see it is Moss is going to go up just to appease kind of some of the other people, and the 4 Feel No Pain is so swingy that it kind of, he needs to at least be over 200 points in other people's opinions. Captain Badrock, the Flash Gets, the War Boss, and the Knobs, we all think that they're all going to get hit, but it's only going to be about 5 points or so, hopefully, and that's actually where they were before, if people forgot. So that shouldn't make them unviable and shouldn't put anybody on the back foot too much, right? It will hurt a bit, but not too much, we hope. Trucks, I think the time for them to get nerfed has already passed. Hopefully GW doesn't react on that, but always keep an eye out for that. GW sometimes little misses with the hammer. And then Squig Hog Boys, people hate them that are against us. People think that they're a little too overwhelming, but we think they're actually totally fine where they're at. But a little point increase will help appease everybody else and help us maybe expand our minds in using other stuff. But what should go and become empowered by the wall? So what are some data sheets? Yeah, there's a lot here. So there's some data sheets that I think people think about, want to use, and we're going to talk about why they could be used, but and how they could become very important as the meta is changing. Yeah, some of these I might give a little poo-poo opinion on, because even if GW hits them, I still don't think they'll be too helpful. And to start that off, I think the Death Dreads are one of those units, right? I think a Death Dread being able to be destroyed in essentially almost any other anti-tank unit in one activation, boom, getting destroyed, means that it needs to be much, much cheaper than it already is. I'm talking 115 points would at least make me question it, if not lower. Last edition, it was like 95 points in a very similar data sheet to where it's at now. And I think that's actually where it should be, to be honest. It's just too easy to kill, and we can't even saturate the field with them anymore. We can't bring 3-man units of Death Dread. So GW putting these down, making them dirt cheap, shouldn't actually be too overwhelming for anybody, because you can't even drown the board in them. So Death Dreads could become very useful because they bring the AP that we need and they bring the damage 3 that we need. But all things considered, they're very easy to pop, very easy to destroy. So
Yeah, they're really just in a spot where they need better rules.
yeah, I mean,
just decrease them in points so some people at least think about using them.
Bring one in from reserves and ingress him in so that he doesn't just get annihilated from across the field. Right. But people need to keep in mind with all of these changes in the post data slate and what's coming next, if GW just decides we're gonna increase all the mechs, right? And people start bringing mechs and then just bringing a couple very elite character breaks with their character, you're most likely going to start bringing 2 different fixed secondaries for your opponent to easily pick up. They're going to be like, assassinate, bring it down. Most straightforward game ever. Thanks, Orks. Right? So if GW does decide to just increase us in a very linear way, it might actually hurt us in some ways, because they'll hurt what we need, but then they'll give the enemies what they need to beat us with points. So that's why Death Dreads are kind of like E. Another unit that's right there where I really can see them becoming playable, because they're already playable, right, are Killicans. So Killicans are already playable, having ranged and melee of damage 3 profile, AP that we already like to see. They suffer from their more low mobility, having quite large bases, but unfortunately, they as well are our vehicles for Bring It Down. Right. So again, like I said, we got to keep in mind that if GW does go here, make our characters expensive, we start bringing a couple of elite character units, then we try to compensate that with vehicles. All of a sudden, we're giving our opponents 2 fixed secondaries. Let's try not to do that. Right. Let's keep that in mind. Hopefully GW doesn't do that, but we keep that in mind going forward as the community. Another one is the battle wagon. Right. I think this needs to go down, not because it's bad or in rules wise or anything like that. It's actually because the stuff that's going to end up going in it is going to be more expensive. So I'd like to see it come down a little bit, right? Give it a little bit more choice between a truck or a battle wagon. Maybe you can even bring 2 if GW does it, or kill rigs, stuff like that too, right? I don't think kill rigs would help. That's why I didn't put them on here, just so you guys know, but they could use an increase too. Then we have a decrease. Yeah, decrease. Sorry, the decrease. Another one is buggies, David.
Yeah, buggies. They just don't have great rules right now. Mainly durability, but they're great tools. Some of them have some very useful abilities, like the -1 hit on the. You gotta help me out here. Which one's
the custom booster blaster. There's also the Boondoggle Snazwagon that has it as an aura, but the one that can hit you from range, David talking about, is the custom booster blaster.
You don't have to be in danger necessarily to pop it off.
And he can be in your backfield doing stuff, right. Just hanging out. I do always say, hey, Bring It Down is going to be a factor, but if you can get these cheap enough so that they're scoring you points, then hey, people still have to ascribe some kind of unit to go kill them. And if they're cheap enough, that kind of weird toughness and defensive armor profile and wounds could keep them in the game.
Yeah, most of them would have to come down for like 10 points for me. Yeah, I want to just bring 1.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, because we don't have rules for them until the codex. So you need to bring them down to be like, if you die, it's a waste of your opponent's activation. Right. So we'll see if GW does that. Another one I brought on here is the Beast Boss on foot. I thought he was over adjusted last time, and the meta has become even stronger. It made him even more needed and become even more durable, which makes him become even more important on our list and in our index as a whole. So him coming down 10 points, I think, would make him right where you want him to be.
Yeah, right in the middle where he used to be. I think that's a good solution.
Yeah, he's slightly overpriced, and considering he's brought for his anti-vehicle capability, but his whole unit is wounding most of those targets on 6s, means that the boys end up feeling a little bit like a tax. So that's why the next one I have is the Beast Snagger Boys. Now, the Beast Snagger Boys have to feel a little bit more important on their ability as a battle line for OC, right? So I feel like you need to bring more of them, even in small units for skirmishes on their own, so they don't feel like a tax when you're bringing them with characters. People will bring them already as a skirmish capability unit. That's why the theory's already been proven. Yet bringing them down as the rest of the elite units have come up, will make more sense to me, right? A beast, snag, a boy unit, and a knob are a 5-man knob unit are almost the same amount of points right now. I'd like to see a bit more of a differential there, to be honest. Mandos/commandos. Commandos are the only infiltrating unit we have. We're paying attacks out the nose for them right now. Most likely because they ignore Overwatch capability, upsets of the gunlight armies. So GW wanted to be cautious there. I feel like commandos are going to be important in the future for playing the games with all these infiltrating units.
Right. Yeah. Being able to get some units up in the middle of the battlefield and controlling, setting the tempo. As orcs right now, commandos are only option, so that's paying a high tax just to try to counter that.
Just to participate in that part of the game, right? A lot of people go, well, I'll just bull rush them, whatever. Okay, think about this. A lot of these gunline armies are already setting up their fixed secondaries. Therefore, they want to have the middle of the table. They're willing to throw away a quarter of their army for a turn so that they can score for that turn. The second turn be set up and fight you with their second wave and score for that turn. The third turn, you've closed the line with your diminished army. They're still scoring their secondaries with fix. So in their head, they have 3 turns where they're almost assuredly scoring in the middle of the table just because they have enough infiltration and movement blocking capabilities with their transports that they're not worried like that. That's why we really need to kind of create a pocket for our army to move through, and I think commandos might become more important for that reason. That being said, I still think we're playing out the nose for that, and they need to come down a little bit. But Snick Rot. So Snick Rot, if he goes down too, let's say that they do a duet of Mandos and Snick Rot, and Mandos aren't cheap enough still where they're at, or you might just go, man, I might just bring a solo Snick Rot on my list. Act as a weird assassin on his own, right? Take him off the table, put him back in the backfield, use him to infiltrate just so people can't stuff you in your deployment zone, and then you can just go back and put him in the table, put him somewhere. If people use him to do a secondary in the middle of the table early in the beginning of the game behind a wall. So Snick Rot might become a solo op, in our opinion, if he can become cheaper, right?
Yeah, that'd be a nice tool to have.
It'd be weird, but it could happen. It could happen. Because he's already almost there. Like, you might almost consider him, to be honest. Then you have War Boss and Mega Armor. So the War Boss and Mega Armor, in my opinion, just straight up needs a point decrease. There's a vast differential of offensive capability between him and the War Boss, just straight up War Boss. His durability difference isn't really that cool. His data sheet ability happening on the wall only is silly. I mean, I really hate that. And then giving +1 a hit on Mega Knobs, it's cool, but Mega Knobs just lack in volume of attacks themselves. So War Boss and Mega Armor just needs to come down, because I think that Mega Knobs on a whole are already at okay points where they're at. They just need that their characters maybe come down, especially him.
Right, I'd like to see him closer to that 75-point mark.
Yeah, especially offensively, they need that. Mech guns. I think GW overcompensated last time with the mech guns. We already suffer as an army to pop these high toughness units without using beast snagas. Interacting with transports is really annoying. So mech guns actually help with that, and GW kind of overcorrected by making them 55 points. I'd really like them to go down to 50 or back to where they were. We really just do need that, and they're not overwhelming for our opposition. So GW doing that was a bit of a big-handed, kind of over-aggressive move.
Yeah, you're starting to see more Rhino Rush list for certain armies.
Right? Yeah, so GW, just relax on the mech guns. Everybody would appreciate if you let them use this more. I put the Knob Wall Banner and the Pain Boy. Right? I think Boyz themselves, sure, you can argue that they could stay where they're at in points, but other characters need to become more useful for their tool potential, right? For the fact that you can play the mission, out OC people, exist on an objective with Boyz if you're not going to make Boyz able to kill anything this edition. You have to be able to not feel like, why would I just not bring 10 more Boyz if I'm going to bring a Pain Boy by himself in 10 Boyz? The Knob with Wall Banner, once he gets Follow Me Lads, he becomes a bit taxed out the nose. I'd like to see him drop to around the Big Mech with KFF level. That would make him outrageously point costed. I would actually love seeing that. He still is tricky to use, though, in my opinion. And Follow Me Lads is what puts him over to be very useful. So I think putting him down in points won't become drastic or too much for anybody. One nice mob with Wall Banner, but that's my preference. I love that. Everybody knows that. And so in general, I want to see Boyz be used more for their OC. That's why, and more tooling stuff. And I think these characters that are not offense need to come down so you can play the mission. And then Gaz. I think Gaz's damage 3, his Makari aura going off on the wall might become even more important when you're going to have less of our elite infantry units around the field. So on that wall, we really needed to go off, and having lethal on top of sustain allows us to really maximize the wall. that might become, honestly vital. I've been running gas a lot, and having lethal on top of our sustain makes all of our units, even when they're diminished, capable to punch up, especially if you pop Unbridled Carnage. So you're maximizing the critical on that and getting lethal 5s and sustain 5s. It becomes outrageous. So even a destroyed unit of knobs can destroy somebody. So Gaz might be cool in that way. I'd like him to come down and probably meet Maz somewhere like at a tie, right? If Maz is going to come up to 215 or 205, Gaz needs to come down to like 215 and 220 or something like that, because you're still paying for the bodyguards. And I usually I pay for bodyguards because I need the devastating wounds on the wall. That's been super important. So you need to absorb a tank sometimes, a tank shock, a grenade sometimes, and you need to absorb a vehicle exploding sometimes too. So yeah, Gaz needs to come down here a little bit as well. I would say, yeah, that's where I want him to be. Anything? No?
Yeah, no, that's just an expensive package when you're including the knobs.
Yeah, so he really is. A lot of these guys can come back up, down, but not too much, and that's because in the summary / wish list of the wall. Now, Orks will still be strong, but possibly suffering from pregame abilities. We're still going to suffer from our ability to destroy transports because our DACA is kind of suffering here, and our anti-tank long range damage is suffering here. That's why I brought up mech guns and stuff like that. Tank busters are just garbage, horrible unit. They're a mixed profile. I don't think dropping them in points will make them relevant to any degree, to be honest. And our Titanic units that do have decent shooting profiles themselves get destroyed by enemy opposition anti-tank profiles. So I don't think that helps as well there. So we'll struggle to kill some of these big killy units. I mean, demons might become interestingly a matchup again if squigs are over costed again, and all these weird factions that are super durable might try to stat check us again. We already know dreadnoughts are super relevant right now. These durable units with high toughness and great armor saves is annoying. So we were already just holding on to taking those things down. If GW doesn't give us other ways to take these vehicles and these targets down without squigs, then we might be in a little for a struggling position there, to be honest. And that's why I really am looking at Gaz and his lethal capability. So GW, what they hopefully do, right? So this is what me and Dave were talking about. Are they going to come in here with just a Nerf hammer, right? And just hit us? Or are they going to come and try to balance out the index codex here, dude?
Honestly, I think when we actually see these new point changes, it's going to be very minimal, because a lot of times what happens is other armies get indirect buffs or nerfs because other units get increases or decreases of points.
Okay.
Like for the infiltrating units, those scout squads, those for sure are going to go up.
That's true.
That'll help Orks indirectly.
Yeah, and that's actually very cool that you said that, because last data slate, our natural predators all went up in points, which brought us up all the way. So we don't know if all these units we're already thinking of and like, they're going to be scary. What if they all go through the roof in point costs, and then our decreases don't even matter that much, and then everything else comes into play and be cool. So that's why I want to see, can you support our DACA? Is GW going to help us with some of our DACA potential? I would be cool seeing kill tank, grot tanks come down in points a little bit. I know 155 is already decent. Can we get a little bit cheaper there? The buggy's getting cheaper for more DACA. In general, are they going to help our DACA? Where's the mech wall? Right? That's what I'm saying with the killicans and stuff like that. There's a bunch of different mech type units, such as the battle wagon. Definitely want to see that coming with GW. So if they want to bring something up, bring up the mech wall. Yeah. And where is the rise of the green tide? So we've already covered a couple of these lists with Ork Boy mobs, right? But I'd really like to see some of these unique Ork Boy characters already be used, right? Used more often, in my opinion.
And also keep in mind, when this data slate comes out in the middle of January, springtime is only a few months after, so that codex is dropping.
Guys, be excited as Ork players, because you get to enjoy where we're at now, hit the data slate, look at it, feel it out, go, oh man, that's a little oppressive, complain about it, and then just be like, just kidding, we got our codex. Whoa, so in reality, guys, just have a great time. Orks are in a great position. We're happy here on the channel where Orks are at. I've been enjoying them when I've been going out with them and playing them. If anything, I just want to deal with a little bit more infiltrating and early game interaction, maybe scouts and stuff. Death Killer War Trike might become very important here in the future, because if other guys go up in price, we need something that we can throw away that's still very durable with that for a Feel No Pain. So overall, that's how we feel about the post data slate predictions. Now we'll probably get in the chats real quick. Sorry, my voice like this, guys. Mr. 2.
Oh, he's a bad boy. God damn it. I was on my way to bed. Oh, well.
War! That's what I'm talking about. It's wartime. It's wartime. Let's go.
Wall to you all.
I could see Snaggle Boys get some love. I actually, I do too, because why is there like a 20-point gap from Boyz to be Snaggle Boys? I know they're stronger. I know they got to feel no pain, but 20 points seems a lot for one pip of strength and a 6 feel no pain. That kind of feels irrelevant most of the time.
Yeah, I feel like that was just an overreaction with the whole Beast Boss meta early in the.
I mean, they were already that points cost, but yeah, GW was like, we're leaving those guys there. They're expensive. So yeah, I would love to see B Snaggle Boys come down, even if it's 5 points. Just make them a flat 100. I'd be happy about that. Whoa! Time for the revolution. What does this dude get saying?
Says GW needs to make the Red Gobbo and the Revolution part of the Codex.
Oh shoot! I mean, fight for it. That's it. Start a petition. Thoughts on maybe? I'll actually read them out.
Thoughts on maybe Def Copters going down a bit in points to compete with Storm Boys? How about Tank Busters? They seriously need help.
So Def Copters, they already did go down the last data slate. So I don't know if GW's gonna drop them again. To be honest, I think they're already in a pretty great spot. Happy Crumper pointed out how they were already useful. The meta's been using them more and more often. I think another thing that's kind of overlooked is putting them on terrain to get them plunging fire so they get additional AP. I think another thing is overlooked sometimes is that they do give up, bring it down, so you can kind of bring it as bait. But in reality, Storm Boys just become a little bit more better as a whole because they don't give away a secondary, and they can run through ruins. So how they compete with them is actually based off their odd defensive potential and their rockets. So bringing them down maybe, but I don't think GW will go that way because they're already kind of pretty good with that. Now Tank Busters, like I said, they need serious help, but that's more of a data
rule
thing.
Yeah.
They're trying to do 3 different things. One dude's trying to shoot with pistols, the other dude's trying to crump the guy next to him with the hammer, the other guy's trying to shoot his rocket at stuff. So they're just all over the place, man.
Yeah, they're like a bad impression of the command squad for Space Marines.
Yeah, they don't know what they're doing.
They need better rules to compete with. What would be a sweet spot for Commandos / Snickra?
So Mandos are 135 right now, and Snickra is 85. So where would you feel there? I think Snickra going down to 75 would make him an interesting solo op, but I think GW that wouldn't put him that low, to be honest. So if you dropped him just 5, it might be interesting, but that's based off how the rest of the list looks, right?
Right.
And the Mandos, what do you think?
I think GW at most will drop him down 5.
You think another 5? That's it? I'm thinking 125.
125.
I think putting them to 125. And you know what, Mr. 2 said 120. 120 is super hopeful, but yeah, I think 125 might be awesome, to be honest. And then he said 175 for Snickra. These are 2 very hopeful numbers in my opinion, but this would actually be exactly where I'd want them to be in.
Yeah, it'd be a good package. Sub 200 points.
Yeah.
Good infiltrating hitting.
For sure. And then we got David Ork Army win. Oh, that's actually next Saturday. So tell them about what we're doing.
Yeah, next Saturday, our local game shop is hosting the WAAAGH Before Christmas, and it's a 40k apocalypse game. So pretty much anyone can bring at least a minimum of 2,000 points. I'm going to be bringing Orks. Eddie's obviously bringing Orks, and we're going to blast whoever comes our way and crump them the Orky way. We're
gonna be Orks against everybody else. We're actually using 10th edition rules. It's just like apocalypse style. Every round's like an hour. Every team's turn is an hour, so it can actually get finished and we can actually play through it. We're gonna be collecting teeth at the end. There's gonna be guys from Discord that are gonna be there. I'm bringing a Stampa, a Morkanaut, a Gorkanaut, and 3 kill tanks.
And I'm bringing the speed
and a kill rig. So I'm just bringing 6 Titanics. I just decided that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, there's gonna be like 5 Stampas.
Yeah, at least at already. Whoa! What do you say right here?
I really want to try out the 5-man knobs with Mega Armor Boss with Follow Me Lads instead of Gaz with Mega Knobs. How you feeling?
Oh, dude, definitely do that. Put them in a truck. That's the one thing is that they can actually get delivered quite effectively. And then their staying power after, that they're going to be kind of hard to dig out of there. The AP is great. A lot of people are poo-poo on Mega Knobs because they hit on 4s. And then they're going to hit on 3s and they have a little amount of attacks. That is all true. But keep in mind, when you're wounding most things on the game, let's say other elite infantry on 2s, re-rolling because twin linked, or you're wounding most things in the games on 3s, re-rolling, you're going to feel really good when your wound potential is going through very, very highly, and you're one of the only -3 melees in the game too. So just think if the math was if the stats were reversed, how it would look, it wouldn't look that bad. I definitely like to held Umbrella Carnage in my back pocket though, because if that does go off, if you do get real lucky on those rolls, then the damage output becomes crazy. So totally try them, dude. Totally try them. People poo-poo them all the time, but that's just because people like to overreact if things don't devastate everything in the game. What's up?
Oh, well, who needs sleep to beat Militarum tomorrow?
Nobody, because Orks is never beaten. Well, I also hope we get a cheaper Zagstruck. You know, he keeps coming down, and I would love that, because if we can get him solo, just dropping Zagstruck in the back line, 6 wounds, 6 feel no pain, punching with 6 attacks with his power claw, flying, just freaking assassinating people, that'd be awesome. Oh, it looks like someone's my mic being a little weird. Hopefully my mic's good. Sorry, I must have made noise when I hit it with my face. But yeah, hopefully it's Zagstruck, David.
Can the buggy get some love as well?
Whoa! For the buggies. But yeah, the buggies definitely need some love. Like I said, if we can get them to be like cheap tools instead of worrying really about their damage potential, that'd be cool. The one that is for damage is the indirect buggy. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's the one that we could see that might be actually help for the indirect buggy. Mike, they're letting me know about their mic. Hopefully it fixed. Hopefully my mic's fixed. Let me know. Let me know. David.
Tank boxes won't be fixed until Codex changes.
Yep. Oh, we got
a new. Oh, there's a
super chat. What?
Oh, thank
Here's
you,
some
Lexi
teeth for the
147.
whoa.
Oh.
All right, well, we're gonna use these teeth to get a new cable.
Yeah,
we're gonna use these teeth directly to get a new cable for this mic that I keep hitting with my face. Obviously, it doesn't want to, stay working. So we appreciate you directly. So great love from Lexi. Whoa! Let's get some walls in the chat, some emojis for Lexi in the chat. I greatly appreciate that. My voice wants to go out because of you.
David, once you go green, you never go back. Proud of you, boys.
Whoa, that's what I'm saying, dude. I think it'll be good. The fact that I'm going to come with 6 Titanic and David's going to come with 18 bikers and what is it, like 9 to 12 buggies, a battle wagon.
No, I took the battle. Yeah.
No, you have the battle wagon
with 10 flash kits and 10 knobs.
Yeah.
Each with their character.
Yeah, so that's gonna be super fun. And yeah, I'm gonna have the 3 kill tanks and then all those guys. I'm thinking I'm just with mega knobs in most of these units, guys. Boom. Oh, I'm gonna bring a kill rig too, because my opinion is no one's gonna focus on the kill rig. So I'm gonna run up the field with the kill rig. The beast boss on foot's gonna get out, one of the only infantries on this giant table, and then run up and devastate something and we'll punch him in the face. That's the way I see it. Oh, last thing I have that I'm bringing on that list too is Zagstruck with 10 Storm Boys.
Oh yeah.
Because I want to drop him on the field as the one jetpack unit and just to destroy somebody with ingress. So will it work? I don't know, but I don't care. It's gonna be awesome. And we're gonna do content based off it, guys. So yeah. David.
What's good? It's me, Pablo from Kataya Dog. I beat CSM and Death Guard today. LMAO. I know that doesn't happen, but it happened today.
So, whoa, Pablo, we met at the last RTT I was at. Shout out to Pablo. Yeah, and he said he beat CSM and Death Guard today. You know what? I actually believe it because you also beat Leagues of Voltan at the RTT I was at. Okay. So, and Pablo, I don't know if you're still running that, but you can let people know on the Discord too. You still running that Death Killer War Tribe? You still running that speed walk? It's not necessarily speed walk, but he'll mix up bikers with squigs. So then he has a lot of pressure and moving forward with a lot of good toughness. It's actually a really cool list that he has going forward. So great job, Pablo. We appreciate you. And he's in the Discord too. Always with the funny names.
War boss be smart. He using head to hit the mic like a true war boss.
That's what I'm talking about.
Do you think the word boy on foot needs a point change or changes to hit data sheet?
Oh, he needs a data sheet.
Yeah,
a data sheet change, dude. His abilities are just like, what are you doing? Yeah, he needs something cool. I mean, I would like, because we don't always have to do stuff based off killing, I'd like to see him do something reliably to Battle Shock.
Oh, like an auto pass within 6 inches
to make people take it. Maybe
to
phase enforcements, whatever. But I'd like to see him Battle Shock people, because we can stop people from using Armor of Contempt possibly.
I got you.
In a weird way, so you can make them fun, right?
I like that.
Yeah. So like, because that's what happened to me at the event. I should bring up is at the last RTT I was at. I think it was a Piranha battle shocked Maz in the movement phase, caused Maz to fail battle shock, and then I couldn't use a CP reroll or Harder's Nails, and that's how Tau killed me in like 3 or 4 activations and shooting. So that's another thing that if we want to be cunning gets, you know, battle shock could be more interesting. But
Yeah,
where Boyz sucks right now.
There isn't really much of that, right, in the index?
For us, no.
If any?
Not,
I can't think of one.
Shock attack gun could hit someone. And
yeah. Said I don't live nearby. 100% would bring Snick and Mandos just so I can sit down early and watch.
Yeah, you could bring 30 Mandos and just go right up in the middle of everybody's line, because you know the other players are going to bring all Titanic, big stompy stuff too. So you can catch someone off guard with that. We were thinking it'd be funny. Oh, he's still bringing it. So yeah, right here, dude.
Yes, sir. People can't deal with my Death Killer. Death Guard thought Demon Prince was gonna get
it.
Get it. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So the Death Killer War Track, I'm telling you guys, especially post Dataslate, I can see the Death Killer War Track making his way downtown, walking fast, crumping hard, faces bound, and he's homebound. I just made this. I messed up. But yeah, I can see the Death Killer War Track becoming very awesome and useful. So shout out to Pablo the Donkey. Boom.
How do you feel about Orks versus World Eaters matchup?
Well, considering
got a lot of experience in this
one of the best World Eater players in the Midwest, literally. I think he's like top 5 right now.
You can Google it.
Yeah, I think he's top 5 now on TC for World Eaters, maybe top 3. Not including 9th edition stuff. All 10th edition stuff is his stats. How do I feel about them? They can be tricky, as we've seen in another channels, right? We got Happy Crumper, we got $1 Billion Clown Farm, both of those guys, and Brad Chester, all 3 of those players. We've seen them go into World Eaters and have either very difficult wins, come out with draws, or actually straight up lose to them. And there's actual reasons for that. But then if you look at the stats on Goonhammer, we have a good winning rate into them. Now, why is that? And that's because the actual World Eaters player base is very skewed. There's the people who understand the rules of the World Eaters Index very well, and they know exactly what they're trying to do and what they're trying to be efficient at. And then there's everybody else who's just going based off the nails. You know, they're just trying to get stuck in and blood for the blood god, right? So it depends. What player are you going into? If you're going into a guy who's blood for the blood god, Orks are going to be fine. If you're going into someone who's willing to tech into allies such as brigands or demons to assist them, if you're going for someone who's going for a straight skew with Angron in the game 1 charge and pregame move, those are different tools and things you need to do. What is really important for Ork players to know is, 1, the Master of Execution is the most important person to line up against and take out with your tool units, such as the knobs with power claws. You want to fight on death if you can with them. Sometimes the knobs and the Squig Hog Boys themselves, but I like the knobs better because those guys can reduce damage by 1. So the AP makes a big difference here. Right. Another thing is that Flash gets help in that matchup as well. When those guys try to move, you overwatch them, try to pick up that unit, diminish it. So when you do find death, you can take out the Master of Executions on that trade.
And specifically about the Flash kids is they're capable of severely crippling that unit
or killing it up, just straight up picking
just killing it because they move every time you shoot them with a new activation. The berserkers.
Yeah, so they do. So you have to be careful.
Just wipe them out in 1 turn.
Exactly.
You don't have to worry about that ability.
Because they can get into combat with you based off that ability.
Yeah, they can get into engagement range with that ability.
Yeah, that's how that works. Another thing with them that I learned, last tip so I don't rant too hard here, is with them, because they can initiate the fight into us and Orks don't really like that, you almost need to sacrifice, kind of like cut the board in half, make a line between you and their actual killer units, kill their units that you can deal with, have them run into what you consider a screen as an Ork player, you know, maybe trucks, maybe storm boys, grots, bikers, death killer, war trike, whatever. Let them go into that. Maybe your beast snagger boys themselves, because maybe they don't have good things to target with them in that trade, fighting death with that or whatever you may do, and then get the charge off on them, because the fact that they're waiting for you to wall to run into their screens, the fact that they can actually pre-measure you and go, well, I can auto advance 6 and keep advancing all game, makes them, if they're smart, to try to move into you and set up the initiative. So you as an Ork player need to go in and go, hey, I'm going to give you this. You have to come get it because you only have so many units, and then I'm going to kill you with my units. And I'm going to make sure that you're already diminished so you can't one-shot my units in the clapback, and then I'll have enough stuff over to keep playing the game. Last thing is you have a unit of Storm Boys in the backfield. That way, when they front load into you and they sticky their objectives in the back with their jackals, you have something to go get those objectives. That way, they don't just win late game because of sticky objectives. So do that. Make them go get the Storm Boys.
And all this, you have to consider this when you're deploying.
Yeah.
Because their win rate skyrockets when they get first turn.
Mhm.
Since they have scout move on multiple units, they move 9 inches, can get +2, advance in charge, auto advance 6. So they can touch you turn 1.
And that's why Mandos might become even more important, because you just mess up a scout unit if you put Mandos in front of them.
Exactly.
So, yeah, World Eaters, how we go into them? We have all the tools to beat them. It really does come to generalship and list.
Make Warboy able to deadly demise himself into an aura auto battle shock
yes,
upon enemies.
that solves all problems. Oh, we got a new member.
Oh, the Ork Commissar.
Yeah, no, Commissar.
Oh,
let's go. You've been around for a minute. You get.
A Death Killer with 3 bikers and Super Cyborg is so fun.
Oh,
helps in a lot of 1K games.
Dude, can you imagine 1K with the Death Killer War Trike and 3 bikes? Obnoxious, dude. No, who's gonna kill that? Their whole army? You know what I mean? Like, at least in the shooting phase. Yeah, that's fantastic. Fantastic. Whoa! What do you think of Luda's Banner Boys? Do they need a price change? Luda Boys, so Luda's, I think they're already cheap where they are, where they can be. They could go down, I guess. Why not? But no. What it is if you play on terrain that can use plunging fire and you're playing on GW terrain, there's actually a good chance you can place some Ludas on the back of your board in a high terrain place and overlook an objective and get rerolls to hit and actually get -2 AP, and you can actually get some efficiency out of Ludas. It's just that is not conducive to the rest of the Orc rules to use Ludas. That's what it is. Burner Boys can totally be used. Burner Boys can be used in the SWAT team, like we like to call on channel. So you bring knobs or you bring flash kits, and then you bring Burner Boys, put them in a truck, boom, boom. The Burner Boys come out, clear a screen, the knobs run out and get stuck in, the flash kits shoot at range, the Burner Boys shoot stuff at close range, anything like that, SWAT variation. So they're already great where they're at. Burner Boys, if they did go down, I'd just be happy, because 65 points sometimes is just enough where I can't fit them on a list. But they're good. They're great. They're great.
Give us your breakdown on Zod in a unit of 10 versus 20.
Okay, you know what? I'll
Actually,
try. Yeah, we've been discussing this. So why and no. So I think I'm gonna try to summarize this so I don't long-winded response, but the 20-man unit cannot be hidden or staged. You're getting a better trade for anybody that has a cheap skirmish that can actually take out that whole unit outside of the wall. So that's the bad parts of the 20-man unit. The good parts is you can actually steal enemy objectives, such as maybe enemy outpost, or just straight up get in the way of an entire enemy army with that unit. But what I think is the correct way to use this is the 10-man unit. Now, the reason for that is because I think you get the most utility out of Zog and his Grots on the wall, because they act as the, like I just said, versus World Eater. They'll get in the way of those World Eaters, be like, haha, you want to kill me? Well, I have a invuln right now, -1 to wound, like a stupidest screen ever right here. Or haha, run to your enemy outpost because I can move additionally during the wall and get even further, and I can charge into you knowing that I might actually survive. So I think using Zod in the 10-man unit, hiding them away turn 1, just really using their range so enemies can't come down near them or whatever, is more important, and possibly doing secondaries, staging them so they don't get killed. And then on the WAAAGH turn, you come out and start getting the max out of that data sheet. That's actually, I think you should use Zod. Easier said than done, sorry, but that's still the best way.
Yeah, you also get more value in having those other 11 Grots as its own unit.
Yeah, at least I do. I'll just walk them up the field on their own later. I'll try to get an objective later in the game, stuff like that.
I did the War Trike plus War Bikes and 500 points, but I totally didn't read about Cyborg Body, so I didn't have it.
Oh,
still murder
still murdered hobo hard. Well, that's awesome. That just means you're crumping right. I think Death Killer War Trike is always slept on. I mean, if you look at Art of War, they when they talked about Orks, no shame to $1 billion Clown Farm and that other guy, but they straight up poo-pooed Death Killer War Trike to the Laugh Factory. They said that Super Cyborg body is the worst enhancement in the game and that it wasn't useful. And I think that's anti to what our channel likes to talk about in general in 40k. Everything kind of can be used for the most part in a certain way, unless they have just straight up horrible data sheet potential. And looking at something going like, man, a 4-up feel no pain is just trash. It's like, I don't know, bro. Like that's crazy. Like a 4-up feel no pain can't be trash. So yeah, that's Super Cyber Body is super slept on. So I'm glad you're using it.
And we also saw that taken at the World Championships.
Oh yeah,
by the top Orc player.
Yep, the person who performed blessed at World Champions had a Death Killer War Trike and the 4-up feel no pain. Boop. So he just sold us all. And I think in the future that's still going to be used.
For sure.
Yeah, and that's no hate on $1 Billion Clown Farm. That guy's probably objectively a better player than me, so I can't say nothing about that. What I'm saying is to just look at an enhancement and be like, that thing's bad. Then a 4-up feel no pain, it's like, hold on, bro. How'd you guys miss that? You guys are Orc players. Do you think CSM finna get nerfed? Yeah, I think that's just objectively not gonna get missed. Yeah, they have to get nerfed, bro. They do everything in the game.
Yeah, their Chaos Lords are too cheap. What is it, Chosen, right? And the Chosen are too cheap. But I can totally see both those units getting some point increases.
Yeah, for sure. I like killing them because they're in Power Armor.
GW sabotaged Ludas. What other army has a dedicated shooter that hits on 6s?
That's so true, dude. What were they doing? They were like heavy keyword on hitting on 6s. That seems right. Yeah, you know what? They should be 25 points.
Would you take them?
Yeah.
Okay. If you've seen the way I'm laying in my chair, you would understand why my lazy butt is spelling everything wrong.
And you should get crumb for that. Any Orc Beauty, Mega Knobs, not you Tank Busters. Oh, he's putting the Mega Knob things and talking to each other. That's awesome. What's the best loadout for Mega Knobs? I'm a fan of the twin kill saws. That's me. Because if you're gonna not hit accurately at all, then you really need to wound very accurately and very effectively. And the -3 AP just it really matters. It puts you over that threshold to what's getting through or not. The Power Claw just doesn't do it for me sometimes. I could see the argument for why you bring Power Claws in the shooters. Let's say you're with Gaz and you just want more bodies so Gaz doesn't get stuck. That's the one argument for Power Claws. But other than that, I'm a big fan of twin kill saws. I mean, come on, guys. Strength 12, -3, twin linked. And I like 3-man units on Gaz the best, but a 2-man unit's good enough. Just throwing that out there as well. Depends on what I want to do. 2 twins, freaking yeah. Twin links on 2 twins, man. And shout out, I've said it before, I'll say it again. 2-man, 3-man units of Mega Knobs might be sleeper good too, and start being brought up again too, guys. We're gonna have to just change it up here, get it if GW does. We don't know how these points are gonna go. So always be open to these ideas. Whoa, the Save Master. I know you've been here a long time too. You get surprised you haven't been around. Do you think 2x10 of Grots are worth it? You're going to need a third. I like to bring 2. I think third is usually just like, if you got the points that fit in perfectly. If you're using Zod, maybe, in that case. I think 20, though, 2 10-man units is exactly where I like to be. A lot of people are kind of there, too. I tend to miss having 22. If I bring 11, I always feel like I'm missing something. So there's just missions where I really need them to screen in the back, and there's some missions where I throw them forward to just mate with their OC and be annoying. Oh, David.
2-man Mega Knobs gives you super durable chaff that can screen, action monkey, point holders that can still punch a rhino to the moon.
That's true. Honestly, he's not wrong, because you have to stay there with the rhino for a little bit. But the difference is, if you were stuck in combat with that rhino with knobs, the knobs would eventually get shot in combat, whittled down. They'd be wounding on 5s with that rhino. The rhino would be taking decent saves. The rhino would heal a wound every turn. A rhino would survive. But if it got stuck in a combat with 2 Mega Knobs, those Mega Knobs might take 2 turns to kill it, but they actually have a good chance to kill it, especially if you spike those 6s to hit, because all of a sudden you're getting multiple. Just say you get 6, 7 hits in, you're going to pretty much get 5 to 6 wounds in as well. So people kind of sleep on that, but the chip damage does actually really build up when you realize in a skirmish, in another small fight of units that are below 100 points or whatever, or Mega Knobs kind of just win that exchange. Does it take 2 fight phases? Yeah. Does it take 4 fight phases sometimes? So 2 whole battle rounds? Yeah. But Mega Knobs actually do have the potential to win a lot of weird skirmishes for 90 points. They really do.
Yeah.
All right, so you think that's it?
I think that's coming to a close.
You think that's good close? All right, you gets. So I appreciate all you guys. Shout out to the new members, the Commissar, Lexi for the super chat. We appreciate you. You get Nick J for his new membership. Remember, guys, we're doing the raffle. And I seen some of you guys wondering. Yes, if you're in Australia, you'll get the box. If you're in Antarctica, you'll get the box. If you're in Madagascar, you'll get the box. Where will you not get the box?
I mean, I'm willing to send it to the moon too.
Okay, all right. The
Just
only
gotta
place,
talk to Elon.
yeah, the only place you're not getting it is in the webway, you know, because I don't play with beaky, with scrawnies. So, that being said, you guys, we appreciate you greatly. Subscribe, be a part of the members if you want. We have a Patreon. Like the video, anything helps. See you all. Put up, sorry, you do this. I can't read.
See you all. Put up the reiteration from RTT on the list review channel. Any criticisms, always appreciated.
For sure. We love to interact on Discord and always interact on Discord. We got good talks. People always talking. Always, there's no dumb questions, and there's always a place for you in the Great Wall. So one thing to keep in mind is don't cross a wall because we knock your teeth out. Whoa!